Chapter 2 Episode 41, Premonition. I returned from the store and met up with Jeff and Kakin, who had changed clothes. Anyway, I've gotta get going. Thanks for everything, Jeff. It was nothing. See ya. Jeff had finished his job, so he left as I got back. I bowed and saw him off, then brought the new employees with me to the Merchants Guild. I had asked them which guild they wanted to register with, and the decision was unanimous. When we arrived, we were of course led into the reception room to meet with the guildmaster. Are these the new guys? Yes, I found them through an acquaintance. You always work quick, eh? You just came to ask me about it this morning. Well, that kind of fast action is admirable in a merchant. So, you folks are going to work at this kid's store? Yes, they answered. The guildmaster looked at them, somewhat wide-eyed. Ryoma, what do you do? They are oddly ambitious. And yet they seem loyal to you. Hard to believe you only just met them today, the guildmaster observed, as perceptive as ever. They were all slime researchers for a time, so they recognized the value of cleaner slimes and thought highly of me regardless of my age. Part of it was likely also their pent-up resentment. The chance to make up for past failures overjoyed them, and they also received the security of a stable income. It hadn't been long since we met, but they seemed to 100k up to me. Tony in particular had a bad experience with the Tamers Guild, so he must have had a lot of anger deep down. Their reasons aside, the guildmaster saw no problem with forming contracts with all three of them. Their main job would be to manage the cleaner slimes, so they also signed a contract to not give my slimes to anyone. There were many types of contract paper, and the variety we used was normally for significant deals only. These contracts didn't use magic, but the paper itself served as important proof of the agreement, and they were strictly managed by the guild such that fakes couldn't be created. Any breaches of these contracts were severely punished. An exception in the contracts was that if I established more stores and gave them permission, they could be the tamers in charge of those stores. Without that bit, I wouldn't have been able to start new branches. Once the paperwork was taken care of, we thanked the guildmaster and left the guild. Next, I went to my store to introduce my new employees and put them to work right away. Customers 13, 14, and 15, please. Numbers 38, 39, and 40, I'm leaving your clothes right here. After a chat on our way to the store, I learned that Kakin used to be a noble. The way he talked to people could be somewhat haughty, so rather than have him speak to customers, I put him in charge of carrying clothes. Tony had the stamina of a miner, so I gave him the duty as well. Lobela worked a job with a lot of human interaction, so it placed her at the reception desk. She was quick to adapt to her role. I don't know what it was, but the skills she picked up from her last job seemed to draw the eyes of adventurers. Her clothes weren't especially revealing, but maybe that had nothing to do with it. Attraction is about more than what you can see. At any rate, there was a high chance that these male adventurers would become regular customers. Now that I thought about it, all the women I hired were beautiful. Although, that could have been because the people of this world tended to be attractive in general. I couldn't think of a single ugly person I had met. Even the elderly aged gracefully. While I was thinking about that, I heard a shout. Is that you, Kakin? Why are you here? Is that Lipin that I hear? You two know each other? Kakin was in the middle of carrying some laundry when Lipin yelled at him from over the counter. Oh, yes, I used to work with Lipin. We were employed by the same monster research facility. I quit after a matter of years, however. Never did I expect to run into you in a place like this, Kakin. When did you come to this city? Well. Kakin trailed off. It was going to be a long story. Kakin, you can take a break now. Lipin, you're free to come talk with him in the back, I said, allowing them to use the break room. Around an hour later, after Lipin heard all about Kakin's situation, he let out a deep sigh. I cannot believe you have been in this city for longer than I have. I was certain you must have only just arrived. I didn't think you were here either. I assumed you've been chasing monsters from city to city. Indeed I have been, but this town is my base of operations. But this meeting of ours was quite the coincidence. Agreed, I never thought I'd see you again. I always wished that I listened to you and ditched that lab when you did, but in the end, the choice was made for me. What did I tell you? We may be researchers, but laboratories are no place for us. Unlike you, I'm no good at magic. Nor do I have any talent at taming monsters. I thought that adventuring would be too dangerous for me, so I felt I couldn't go with you. As far as that goes, I still think I made the right decision, but I should have given up on the lab sooner than I did. Maybe then I wouldn't have wasted so much money and gone bankrupt. But now I've been hired here, so maybe life isn't so bad. This could be my chance to get back at everyone who mocked us. Also, it's only been a few hours so far, but learning about the cleaner slimes feels like it made all my years of slime research worth something. All thanks to you, boss. No, thank you for your hard work. I'm only doing my part. Well, I'm glad to see you're alive, Lieben said. This job should provide some security. The conversation slowed to a crawl, but then I started to wonder why Lieben came in the first place. He didn't seem to have any laundry with him, unless it was in his item box. By the way, Lieben, did you want us to do your laundry? Ah, right. I am not here for laundry today. I got plenty done yesterday, he answered. He must have come in while I was gone. Today I have something to tell you about. Do you know of grell frogs? Those monsters that appear in great numbers in a swamp near town? Their hides are used to make armor, and their organs are used in medicine, I hear. I am glad you know, that makes things quick. They have begun to spawn. Really? They are expected to hit their peak numbers in 3 or 4 days, but tomorrow, the guild will put out requests for the capture of grell frogs. They go for a high price thanks to the medicine produced from their parts, and they are also used as bait for lemur birds, so they are popular among tamers and nobles. Forming a contract with a lemur bird would prove your worth as a tamer and raise your standing within the guild. Try it, if you are so inclined. Putting my standing within the Tamers Guild aside, I had heard that lemur birds fly fast, so maybe they would be useful for delivering letters. Thank you for the info. If I open branches of my store in other towns, it'll be best to have a quick and reliable means of communication, so I think I'll try catching some. Is that right? Good luck. There was a sudden knock at the door, and I heard what was probably Carm's voice. He sounded so similar to Carla that it could be hard to tell. Boss, Asagi the adventurer is here with a group of 5. They want to speak with you, he said. I didn't know what they wanted, but I looked at my 2 guests and they seemed to be understanding. Let them in. As you wish. Carm left for the moment, and Kakin said he would get back to work, knowing there would be more chances to see Lieben. Coming in as he left were Asagi, Mia, Welna, Myslia, and Cilia. Welcome, everyone. What do you need? Sorry about the sudden visit. Meow? You're here too, Lieben. I was telling Ryoma about the grell frog outbreak. HRM, you too. We were going to discuss the same topic. If I might ask, Ryoma, where did you buy those work clothes you were wearing before? We can always get laundry done here, but it's rough having to come by so often, especially for beastkin and dragonutes like us. That's why we'd like some clothes that don't get dirty so fast. I decided to introduce them to Serge's store. They already had waterproof cloth in stock, so I assumed he had begun to make clothes from it. You can find it at the Morgan Trading Company in town. Those clothes aren't very well known yet, so there's not much demand and I don't know how much they too have in stock. It's possible they only have a few, but you all met the president of the company at least once, at my opening party. He'll probably accommodate you, I said. At the very least, I doubted that he would flat out refuse. Really? Thank you. It's nothing. No, This really helps us out. Beastkin noses are stronger than humans can possibly imagine. Even the slightest stench is hard to ignore. Thank you, I will go straight to the Morgan Trading Company. Farewell, as Sajai said hurried I. What? He doesn't get like that very often. True, as Sajai would normally spend a bit longer apologizing for the sudden intrusion. All. Meow. What is it, Cilia? Those work clothes. You said there might not be many available, right? As Sajai's gonna buy them all. We have to hurry. No use sticking around here. I gotta rush. Thanks, Ryoma. The rest of them scrambled away as well. If odors were such a problem, I had to wonder just how powerful their sense of smell was. What a boisterous bunch. Leapin, what about you? Aren't you going? I am used to filth and stenches. It goes along with monster research. Besides, I use magic to capture grell frogs, so I have no need to enter the swamp. I hardly get dirty. I see. We spent some time chatting about monsters. From what he told me, you could sell grell frogs to the guild for a medium silver coin each, thanks to how the medicine made from their organs had numerous effects. According to the medicinal knowledge I received when I came to this world, there were more than 50 drugs made from grell frogs. Many of them worked as aphrodisiacs or nutritional supplements, and male nobles bought them for a high price. But it was important to process the grell frog organs correctly. If done wrong, the quality could drop precipitously. You would still produce some medicine, but of lesser value, and certain types of drugs would be impossible to make. That's why the guild only called for their capture, and insisted that adventurers not dissect the frogs themselves. The most crucial part of the process was draining the blood. It had to be done as carefully as possible. That seemed like a perfect job for my bloody slime. After that, they had to be dried and preserved. This could potentially damage the frogs, so wind magic or similar methods were required to dry them swiftly. The speed at which they were dried had a significant effect on their quality, but maybe alchemy would work. I could easily process the grell frogs, had ample use for them, and could preserve them as well. If I didn't take the job from the guild, I might not be able to sell them. If I did try to sell them, however, they could be purchased for less than what they would otherwise be worth. As with collecting herbs, it might have been a good idea to go capture these grell frogs without taking a job from the guild for use as ingredients in medicine. I discussed these matters with Leapin for a surprisingly long time. Is it this late already? My apologies for taking up so much of your time. That's all right, it was fun. I saw Leapin off, and not long after that, we closed for the day. I checked on our sales, then decided to go home for the day.